So Elon Musk just went out and said universal high income via checks issued by the federal government are the best way to deal with unemployment caused by artificial intelligence. His English is terrible. AI/robotics will produce goods and services far in excess of the increase in the monetary supply, not money supply. So there will not be inflation. So there will not be any inflation. I don't know who's writing this stuff for Elon, but this English is terrible. Here, I just showed it to you. I'll show it to you again. This is the post. I don't know if Elon approved that because I don't believe a guy with that kind of educational level could write something like that. It's terrible. This English is this is art student tier English, and I certainly hope he is not the person who wrote that. And secondly, no, as delusion, as delusions of grandeurs, delusions of grandeur. Universal income will not work because there's no reason to have income if you're not leaving the home outside of food, and who's going to pay the taxes? Who's going to pay the rent? Like, I don't understand how this is a thing. If you don't have to go to work, why would you live somewhere? The only reason you have a home is so you can have a shower and a regular address to register all your stuff too, and your license, all this other stuff. I just like if I'm getting paid like a decent income and I don't need anything else and I could just travel all the time, why would I? Why, like, if I were getting paid enough to travel all the time, why would I do anything else? It makes zero sense to me. Additionally, the federal government doesn't have any money. So I'm not certain where they would get the money. This is why I don't think this is Elon that posted this. I don't think this is real because he capitalized F but not G in federal government. But, I'm not going to argue with anybody because this just doesn't make any sense. And if this is the path he thinks it's going to go, he sells robots, or he wants to sell Tesla robots, these Optimus things. I'm not certain what exactly he intends to manufacture with Tesla robots because you can't manufacture everything with Tesla robots. So that means it'll be a two-tier society where some people have to go to work and other people don't go to work. And that's just not realistic whatsoever. It's not going to happen. For some reason, my MacBook's dock keeps moving on its own, and it's really irritating. Excuse me. I was moving it back. It is really irritating. But, not be inflation, so there will not be inflation. That's terrible. That English is terrible. English is bad, and that's not how inflation works. Because inflation is velocity as well as a function of M2, and if nobody is working, what are they going to do? What are they going to spend their time doing? The suicide rate would go through the roof if that were the case, because there would be no reason. So many people would be like, there's no reason for me to live. I'm just sitting around like dying younger because of heart disease and diabetes and stuff for not doing anything. And then I don't understand how they think this is going to be a thing, because it just AI and robotics. There are too many variables in this for economic reasons, for one thing. And secondly, the maintenance cost on these machines is going to be really, really high because electronics fail, robotics fail, electronics and robotics working together fail, like robots, like they wear out. Like, you understand? Like, if you think an AI robot or any of this other stuff is not going to have issues, and you've never worked with AI hallucinates a lot. It's usually doing it, I'd say about 20% of the time you're using it, it's hallucinating. It's making stuff up, it's lying to you about 20% of the time. I use it every day. I work with artificial intelligence all day, every day. I've invented a few things in that space. I've designed some models myself. Some of them are notable, some of them are not. I've been a contributor the entire time. I was a contributor when I was a student, involved with the artificial intelligence and machine learning community when I was a student. I am not a student at this point in time because, criminals are just criminals, and that's just how it is. But I have impacted and directly been involved with this environment and the machine learning community the entire time. And I can tell you right now, there's very few things within this statement that are factual. I have an approximate education, approximately as close to Elon as possible. I only added universal style sustainable engineering to my education. I was a triple major, and it was just econ and I believe physics. I think he was the philosophy of physics. I was doing all science. So my education is similar to this, and you can say, oh, you went to Stanford, whatever. The math doesn't change. The philosophy and understanding of these fields does not change because the decor does. The networks of people you interact with does. But in this conversation, I have approximately all the same knowledge that Elon has. I do not have the experience he does. My experience is in machining, welding, and fabrication by hand, as well as hardware. I've done a lot of hands-on electronics work. I've done a lot of firmware development. And I can tell you right now, none of this stuff is even close to being perfected. We have yield rates on everything. There are yield rates for all electronics. And you cannot avoid yield rates at all whatsoever. You always have a yield rate. You always have, random issues in the hardware manufacturing process that cause problems. You always have a yield problem. You always have returns and RMAs. They're called RMAs still. I don't know if they changed the name of them. RMAs. You always have to go through and refab or refurb something. It's normal. Even at the high-end level, the boutique, enthusiast level of hardware, of electronics and computers and stuff like that, you have a high return rate, you have a high failure rate. High being like 13, 14, 15, 16% of your total product fails. Even if you have like a 70, 80, or 90% yield on your GPUs, they still have around 15-ish% failure rate over time. I work directly in manufacturing with a GPU company, and I also worked at the firmware level, and I have worked at the software, driver, and CUDA level. I was working on CUDA before CUDA was CUDA type of level. Not GPU, I worked on that some. That's an open source project. I am speaking specifically about the firmware package and the SDK that became CUDA. I worked on that directly. So you can have a kind of idea where I came from in my career. I am not Elon Musk level of wealth or company valuation, but I am 100% aware that what he's recommending is this is not realistic. There will be just as many people in demand for work as there are now. The difference is their productivity will be much higher because they will have machine learning and assisted robotics there to help them, but those robotics will increase the cost of maintenance on hardware directly. So either they will have to have a business model similar to Japan's, where they just use something until it's worn out and then replace it with a new model and then send the old one back for refurbishment, or some other nature, some other beast of that nature. And it's not going to increase the goods and services far in excess increase in relation to the money supply. It's just not going to happen. Productivity will go up, but inflation, the money is going to go. Inflationary pressures will go up as well. And the reason why this is going to happen is because people are going to consume more, and thus liquidity will be a problem, and the banks will start loaning new money and currency out and all this other stuff. There's somebody pounding on the wall. I don't know who it is. I don't know why. But that's just how it goes. You're not going to see this crunch where everything becomes cheaper magically. It's not going to happen. Inflation's still going to be a problem because no matter how efficient and how productive you are, the banks are still going to want their cut. That's assuming universal basic income doesn't happen, which it won't. It's not even possible to do that. The federal government doesn't have any money. They'd have to loan the money into existence, which would mean more debt. Debt drives inflationary pressures. And we're already at almost full liftoff for hyperinflation. We're going to see hyperinflation in our lifetime if this doesn't reverse course very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. We're going to have hyperinflation. It's going to be very, very bad. It's going to be brutal. You're going to see it. A lot of people are going to get hurt by this. We're already entering into the very deep of the deep of the Great Depression. We're at like 1934 right now, and the worst year of the Great Depression was 1936. We're at like 1934, and QE just ended in 2019, and QE was basically the bailout in 1933, the New Deal. The New Deal was passed in 1933, 1934, the two parts of it. And the Depression really started kicking off in 1934 with the massive influx of inflationary pressure. So we are going to see it delayed. I can't give you financial advice, but if we're at 1934 right now and QE ended in 2019, that's how long it took for the inflation to leak out because the banks just couldn't contain it. I don't know how many of you are aware that we lost roughly 7,000 banks last year, went insolvent. Like that, we lost roughly 7,000 banks, branches and everything. They just went insolvent. Like franchise banks, credit unions, all of them together. There's about 7,000 of them just last year. And that's, in the past 5 years, we've lost more banks than we have ever seen go insolvent in the history of the United States and banking. So this is not going to end well. I don't want to be a pessimist, but this is not happening. The only way this universal high income happens is if everyone is employed by the government, and that's not going to happen either. There are too many people that don't like the United States government for good reason, and they're just not going to be okay with this. So good luck with that. That's definitely not a very well-worded statement on whomever posted this on Elon Musk's account. It's rather irresponsible. There's no way that this guy is this bad with English. Because if that's actually Elon Musk, and he's worth how much? You guys put how much into his companies?